For my ankle plantar flexion PAILs and rails, the simplest setup is going to be just sitting on the floor or on a block with the top of my working foot on the floor. You could do both legs at the same time depending on what's prescribed in your program. We're looking for a stretch in the top of the ankle. If you need more intensity, you can place a pad or a rolled up towel or something similar underneath the top of your working foot. This is going to create more plantar flexion and more stretch. If you cannot sit like this for whatever reason, we can get a little bit more creative. So we've rigged up here a yoga strap around a really heavy dumbbell. You could use a kettlebell and just hang it on your foot if that is available to you, or really anything that is going to anchor your foot into plantar flexion. So in this setup, I'm going to keep my knee completely straight. I'm going to tighten down the strap a little bit so that it pulls the top of my foot down and gives me this stretch in plantar flexion. Now you can adjust the stretch by rotating your leg slightly in or slightly out. So you're targeting really specifically the tissues that you are trying to work on. So I'm just going to be a neutral. This is what this looks like. I'm going to flex my quads to keep my knees straight. I'm going to hold this stretch for 1 to 2 minutes, again, depending on what's prescribed in your program. For my PAILs, I'm going to attempt to dorsiflex, meaning that I'm going to push my toes, not really my toes, but the top of my foot up into the strap as if I'm trying to lift the dumbbell. So I'm now engaging this stuff that was being stretched. You're going to start at a light effort, a low intensity, again, depending on what's prescribed to you, maybe ramping up to a max effort. For my rails, I'm going to now contract the back side of my ankle, lower calf kind of near the Achilles, and I'm going to try to make the strap loose. I'm not going to bend my knee. I'm going to squeeze my calf muscles to try to reach into more plantar flexion. Notice I'm not curling my toes, or I'm trying not to, because I don't want this to happen at the foot. I want it to happen at the ankle. Prescribed intensity, prescribed duration, and then I'll relax back into the stretch. If you're working on the floor, same principle. Your PAILs will be to drive the top of your foot down into the floor or down into the pad. Again, working from the top side ankle, from your shin stuff. The rails is going to be to contract the backside stuff. I'm not trying to curl my toes. I'm trying to pull my heel towards the back of my knee, finding that prescribed amount of effort, prescribed amount of time, and then sit back into the stretch and relax and reset.